First of all, I just had my first Dilly Bar a half an hour ago, and thank you for introducing me to that.
Good. They'll sell you a second, too. If
you spoke earlier about the threat of change. Can you comment on the threat of deflation?
Well, I think it's very, very unlikely, but I have been wrong consistently now for a decade or more about the degree to which inflation has at least been tamed for that period. I would have expected, if you'd showed me all the other things that were going to happen in the world in the last 10, if I'd seen that ahead of time 10 or 15 years ago, I would have thought we would have had more inflation. So I have trouble envisioning a world of where the U.S. experiences deflation, but my record is not great on that. And again, we do not spend a lot of time thinking about macro factors. I mean, if you ran into deflation, that means that capital is appreciating. So you need much lower nominal rates of return on capital to be in the same place under deflation as would be the case if you had inflationary conditions. So deflation, everything being equal, and it isn't equal, is good for investors because the value of money appreciates, the buying power of money appreciates, but it would have other consequences too. I don't think it's likely. I have no great record at all in macro forecasting, and if it does happen, the truth is I don't know what the effects would be. Charlie?
Well, you've seen what deflation is doing in Japan, and it's been quite unpleasant for the people there. On the other hand, it hasn't been a catastrophe. I mean, nothing like the 30s in the United States.
No, and actually in Japan, if you'd owned long bonds, you would have had a tremendous bonanza from deflation because the value of your bonds would have gone up dramatically as interest rates came down, and then that money in turn would buy more. So it was a very, if you happen to be the person that owned longer bonds issued at higher coupons some years back, that's worked to your advantage. And presumably that would work in this country. If we actually ran into consistent deflation, my guess is that people who owned long bonds, even bought at 5.5%, would find their position in the world dramatically improved compared to people who own most other asset classes.